Hey guys, Frances here, and I want to show you 5 ways to combat the computer crunch. If you're crouching over your computer, I know we all try not to do it, but sometimes we end up doing it anyway. You might have your perfect ergonomics set up in one space, but then you take your laptop over and you're working a little bit. So we all kind of end up in this forward crunch position, and it wreaks havoc on our upper traps and our upper back and neck. So what I want to do is I want to show you a few things to make your upper back, your upper traps, and your neck feel really great. And if you stick around to the end, I will share with you a little bit of something that your massage therapist will not be sharing with you. So I'll share it directly with you. So a couple things. We have some props. I want to show you kind of just what we've got down here. We've got a yoga blanket, a yoga mat, 2 rubber bands, and a ball. So we'll use those props in a non-traditional way to help us open up our upper back. All right. I think let me adjust that a little bit so you can see a little better. Okay. So the first thing we'll do is we're not actually going to open our yoga mat. If you notice, it's not open up right now. We'll take the yoga mat and take a rubber band around each end of the yoga mat so it's not going to unroll. I have this ball handy. All right. So the first thing we'll do is we'll take this yoga mat and put it on it side to side, come down onto our back, knees bent, and just put that yoga mat right in between your shoulder blades. I'm going to bring my hands behind my head and pulling my abdominals in so that it's going to be a little bit more stable there. And I'm just going to roll from side to side. What I'm doing is just sussing out what is happening in my upper back. Where is that spot or those spots that might need a little bit more opening? I'm just going to move that a little bit. And you might try a couple of different times to investigate what you're feeling in your upper back. There are specific spots, trigger points. Those are like those spots that where you hit them and you're like, oh God, that's a good spot to release, right? So some are in between shoulder blades, some are up higher. And that's our first move, is to just roll out the upper back side to side. Should feel really nice. So get a little kind of wiggly movement happening. Doesn't have to be really specific. Just think of being like a cat, just kind of loosening up what you can as you're on that rolled up yoga mat. And the rubber bands just kind of help the mat stay together. Like if you didn't have a foam roller, you could kind of think of this as a little bit of a substitute. It's not quite the same, but just take a moment to find all of those spots and just roll side to side. You can get into a position where you're on kind of near your shoulder blade and just move your shoulder blade around too. So you can try that out, moving those shoulder blades and just kind of squishing in to that spot. If you'll notice, I'm lifting my hips up a little bit and putting a little more pressure on that space between my shoulder blades, on that upper back. Now, if you found a spot that was kind of interest, you can use if you have a racquetball or a tennis ball. If you have a tennis ball, you have to open up your yoga mat and do the tennis ball on yoga mat or a rug. If you have a racquetball, you can do it right on a wood floor and just put that on that spot on your back. Now, you'll lean to one side, put the ball right on that spot that you found between your shoulder blades. You might use one hand to support your head and then just roll onto that ball. You can again move your shoulder blade, kind of get right in there and move into that spot. Take a full breath when you're ready. Take a nice exhale. All right. Okay, next thing, we're going to take a 5-minute vacation for your upper traps. What are your upper traps? So your upper traps are this part right here. All right, now upper traps and middle traps, which we just kind of were addressing a second ago on the rolled up yoga mat, they connect into your neck. So that's why your neck is going to be affected by all of this as well. So what we'll do now is we'll take that same rolled up yoga mat and we'll take the yoga blanket. We're not using these props in a traditional way at all right now. We'll fold the yoga blanket. So this is considered the standard shoulder stand fold. Let's fold it one more from that. And we'll use that yoga blanket to make a little bit of a lift for the yoga mat. Now, If you are a little bit on the tighter side, you won't even need the rolled blanket. For me, I'm a little more flexible, but still I have tightness. I'm going to use the yoga blanket, but feel free to do without it. What I want to do here is I want to make a little bit of a lift to lift up my upper body. I have the yoga mat on an angle flush with the edge of this blanket. So that just gives me a little more lift up here, okay? And what I do now is I'm going to sit on the bottom edge of that yoga blanket, and I want this top edge here to end up sort of right in the middle of my back here. If I found the breastbone in the front, like if you trace your ribs up and you find that the bottom part of the breastbone and just a little bit up from there, and you trace around to the back, I'm going to say like bra strap area. That's the spot that you want to come to line up with this edge of the cliff here, I'm going to call it. Why? Because we're going to let our upper part of our body hang off the back. Think of your shoulder blades for a second, like this triangle shape. So the bottom tip is sort of close to here, and this top flat part is the part that we want to hang down. So I'm coming back, and I might need to adjust a little bit. I want that edge to line up with the spot we talked about, and then I want the top parts, the flat parts of my triangle from my shoulder blade, the base of the triangle, if you will, to come toward the ground. Now, let's come out of it for just a second. If you are upright and you squeeze onto your upper traps, just notice like what the consistency of those muscles feels like right now. For me, it's like it's really tense. It's just like hard as a rock, okay? Not only that, there's trigger points too. So and those are those spots we talked about that are kind of like you want to dig in and release those because it will feel so good. So I'm going to come back here. Now, when you do this, you bring your arms into cactus arm shape. And if you reach over and just feel your upper traps, they're completely soft in this position. Okay, and when do your upper traps ever get a break? Now, if this is too high, you want to come down and adjust right away. Don't come into a position that doesn't feel comfortable. But if you're okay here, then just give your upper traps like a 5-minute vacation. Just hang out and just let them not be on guard. Let them not be tense. Just let them release. This can be very therapeutic. Now, taking full breaths in and full breaths out, you can also allow your diaphragm muscle to release. So the diaphragm muscle, that's a little bonus. That diaphragm muscle connects to your rib cage, right? It goes sort of, you can think of it going all the way through your body. It's like a dome-shaped muscle that connects to the rib cage in the front body and the back body. And when you're in this position and just breathe here, right, you can allow that diaphragm muscle to release. This is really great to release anxiety. Just relax here. Breathe. Just breathe deeply. When you breathe deeply, you might even feel a little bit of release up into that upper shoulder area. Let's do a couple more breaths right here. Now remember, the top of your part of your body is off, right, off of the edge of those props enough that it's sort of hanging down. All right. Now, the other thing we're going to do is while we're here, take one hand across to your shoulder and just grab onto that upper trap and squeeze. Just squeeze into your upper trap there. Squeeze and knead that muscle like dough. Take a big breath right here. Take a big breath out. Now, once you've done that for a few moments, you're going to make your fingers like a hook, like make a firm shape. Keep it firm and then just dig in. See if you can find if there's a spot that needs a little more attention. Now, this main part here, this upper traps, is one of the most tension-filled muscles there is. Right? It's usually a place where most of us hold a lot of tension. Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. So kneading like dough, and then do the finger hook, dig in there. Let's do the other side. So take your hand across and just grab onto that upper trap, kneading it like dough. Breathe fully here. Nice full exhale. Now, if at any point you feel like that prop is too high, I'm feeling that a little bit by myself right now. I'm going to come down a little lower. Okay, you'll still get the benefit, but you want to just make sure that you adjust as you need to. Okay, I'm going to come down. I'm going to readjust. I'm going to just keep that shoulder blades dropping down, and I still have a little bit of that softness going on. And I'm going to just continue to knead like dough, that upper trap. Right? If you're too close to the floor, it might be a little hard to dig in there. So you might need to adjust a little bit on your rolled yoga mat. Take a full breath when you're ready. Take a full breath out. Kneading like dough, your upper traps. Another breath right here. Nice full exhale. Now, make your fingers into that shape like a little hook and dig in with a little more pointedness. Sort of like we did kind of with the middle traps. We used the yoga mat rolled up to kind of roll around in there, and then we used the ball to pinpoint. So now we did the kneading like dough, right? And now we're digging in. Now deepen your breath again. Exhale when you're ready. We have one last thing we're going to do here on the roll. Actually, two last things we'll do. They're kind of compound things so as well. So it'll feel like a little more. One last moment here. Now, I'm bringing my arms here into this cactus shape, 90-degree angles. And now I'm going to move my arms here. I'm going to bring my fingertips to a point above my body so the fingertips come together. So what I'm doing is making sort of like a diamond shape with my arms. So I'm going to come into the diamond, and now I'm going to move through that cactus shape and then bring my elbows down. I'm going to call this the W, right? So the W. So from a helicopter view, you're kind of making the W with both of your arms, okay? And what we'll do is while we're here, we move into the diamond and the W, and the diamond and the W, and the diamond and the W, diamond and W. Just a couple more times. Now I'm going to scoot down on this full roll a little bit, take a little bit of the opening out of that middle back and support myself. And I'm still going to move this diamond and W shape. So I'm taking a little bit out of the upper back to leave it a little bit. And be careful here. If you feel like you need to come out sooner, definitely do that. Notice any tension, any tightness that you feel in your arm. I definitely feel tightness more on my right arm. I had a little kind of lipoma taken out on my right arm. So I'm feeling definitely some caught upness. It's kind of random a little bit. And who knows what movements sort of bring it on. I'm definitely feeling it here. So I want to move and allow my body to continue to keep its range of motion as open as possible. The pec muscles get to open up a little bit because we're elevated on this rolled yoga mat. And I want my arms to kind of end up sort of more open on the floor. So I'm noticing my elbows sort of popping up a little bit. Ultimately, I want to let it stay down. And that will be more opening. And I'm feeling it in my shoulder. And it's kind of a nondescript spot. But what you want to do with spots like that is focus in on them. Notice where they are. Break them down in your awareness. Like, where exactly do you feel it? When do you feel it? How do you feel it? Does it go away when you do certain movements? Does it change? Let's do just two more like this. Diamond and the W. One more, the diamond and the W. Now, last movement we'll do here is going to be to open up your pec minor. So pec minor, I'll just kind of come up for a second and show you pec minor. Okay, you could think of it like a 3-finger fan that goes from that little kind of indentation when you come just out from the edge of your shoulder. There's that indentation and toward your belly button. Think of it like a 3-finger fan that the muscle is attached, and on that diagonal, it's underneath your pec muscles. pec minor. So pec minor tends to get really tight when we're sort of hunched over. And when you do sort of a diagonal movement opening with your arm, you can open up into pec minor. So we're going to do that release right on this foam roll. Sorry, it's not a foam roll. It's a rolled up yoga blanket. What's happening with me? I'm so relaxed, my words are not coming out correctly. So on your rolled up yoga mat, we'll do that diagonal movement. So I'm going to come across my body. I have my other arm out to the side for a little bit of leverage. I have my feet nicely grounded. So on this movement, we'll move into a diagonal shape. So from this arm across the body, I reach up and I open on the diagonal. And I just try to let the back of my hand calm down to the floor. And I reach back up and across and up and open and up and across, up and open, up and across, and again up and open. Now, if I want a little more opening, I'm going to lean my whole body off of the roll just a little bit to the side and open up that pec minor toward the ceiling a little bit and just hold in your off-center openness for a second. Big breath in, big breath out, and then gently come back. Now I'm going to bring my other arm out to the side and do this diagonal motion with the second side. So I come across my body, reach up, and then open on the diagonal. Up to the ceiling, across, up, and open. We'll continue a couple more like that. I want you to deepen the breath while you're here. But just notice what you're feeling in your body. Notice if one side is different. I know I definitely feel one side different. So if you've had any injuries in your shoulder, even if you've had a collarbone break, your collarbone, if you have a broken clavicle, your collarbone, at any point, the shoulder tends to round forward on the one side. So I had a student once who had that specific clavicle break happen, and their shoulder was rounded forward on one side. So you might need to open up your pec minor on the one side more, if that's the case for you. Okay, so that's our diagonals across. So now, remember the last thing that we did on this diagonals across was to lean our body away from that arm. So I'm going to use my feet for a little support. I'm leaning away from that arm. My arm may come up off the floor, it may not, but I'm going into a little more stretch for that pec minor right now on my left side. By leaning off, sort of sliding off to the side of that rolled yoga mat. Take a full breath in. Take a full breath out. And one more breath in. And one more breath out. Let's gently start to unwind. Slowly come off of that prop to your side. Use your hands to come up. And so just taking a moment to wind down from our opening. I want to share with you that tip that I said that massage therapists will talk about amongst themselves. So they might not necessarily tell you, right? But when massage therapists are speaking amongst themselves, they have a nickname for your upper trap muscle. Since the upper trap muscle is one of the most commonly tight, aggravated, trigger point filled places for most people, massage therapists amongst themselves call this muscle, the upper traps, the money muscle. Why? Because if as a good massage therapist, they can really get a good release for that muscle, they know that as a client, you will come back because you need that relief. You need to release that upper trap muscle. So until you can get back to your massage therapist and have them release it professionally with all of the good skills that they have, until you can get back to them, this is a little bit of self-release to help you release the money muscle, maybe save yourself a little bit of money in the process. You have that little inside tip. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you did appreciate this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up if you like, as that will help people find it on YouTube and maybe help more people. You can share it with friends. And if you want to hit the bell notification, then you'll be notified the next time I release another video. I hope this is helpful. I hope your upper back, your neck, and your shoulders feel just amazing, and that you get some relief to combat any kind of crouching over on the computer that's inevitably happening without us being aware. So work on your posture as well. But meanwhile, if you need that relief, I hope this has been helpful. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care, be well, and hope you're feeling good. Thanks. Bye.